He laughed while my dog died, so I made him fear. Every bark in the dark. Let me tell you something about loyalty. Real loyalty doesn't come from people. It doesn't beg for attention or stab you when you're not looking. It's quiet, steady. 4 paws, wet nose, 1 tail wag, and you know it's real. That was Max. My dog, my best friend, my reason for getting through some of the darkest years of my life. He was a rescue, but I always said he saved me. We'd been through everything. Breakups, depression, moving out on my own. Max was the one constant in a world that wouldn't stop shifting. Until the day I met Chase. If you ever wanted to design a man whose face made you want to punch drywall, Chase would be the prototype. The kind of guy who wore sunglasses indoors, talked like he was narrating a Red Bull commercial, and thought empathy was a type of yoga. He was my roommate's cousin. Came to crash on our couch for a week while he got his stuff together. It turned into 3 months of him living rent-free, hogging the TV, leaving gym clothes to ferment in the hallway, and flirting with anything that had a pulse. But what made him truly unbearable wasn't just his presence. It was how he treated Max. Max hated him, and Max loved everybody. At first, I thought it was just tension. New person, new scent. But then I started noticing little things. Max would flinch when Chase entered the room. He stopped sleeping near the door, his favorite spot, and would instead curl up under my bed. I confronted Chase once. "What did you do to him?" He scoffed. "Relax, it's just a dog. Maybe it's broken." Max wasn't broken, but something inside me cracked that day. It all escalated on a Tuesday. I came home early from work, thank God I did, and walked into a nightmare. Max was outside, tangled in his leash. Not the long one I used for walks. This was one I didn't recognize. Thinner, tighter, wrapped in a way that constricted every time he moved. His water bowl was upside down. The sun was beating down. Max was panting, frantic, his tongue purple at the edges. And there was Chase, on a lawn chair, laughing, filming it. "Bro, he's fine. Toughen up. Dogs are resilient." I didn't speak. I rushed to untangle Max, carried him inside, soaked him in cool water, called the vet. Heat stroke, dehydration, possible internal damage. We did everything we could. Max died 3 days later. He didn't die peacefully. He whimpered until the very end, and Chase never said sorry, not once. Instead, he posted the video, called it Dog versus Leash, Leash wins, tagged me in it. That's when I stopped grieving and started planning. And Chase was about to learn the sound of his own fear. Because when you laugh while my dog dies, I don't just come for revenge. I bring nightmares on a leash. Grief burns in stages, but rage sharpens. For days, I didn't talk to anyone, didn't eat. I just sat with Max's collar in my hand, the tags clinking like wind chimes in a haunted house. I stared at Chase's video, his stupid smirk, his wheezing laugh, Max struggling in the background like a forgotten toy. Then I made a plan. This wasn't going to be quick. This wouldn't be loud or dramatic, or end with a punch. Chase didn't deserve an ending. He deserved erosion. So I started with silence. I didn't kick him out. I acted cold, sure, but not suspicious. If he noticed, he didn't say anything. Probably assumed I was just being emotional. He underestimated me, which was perfect, because while he played video games in the living room and talked about his gains, I was laying groundwork. Step 1, isolation. Chase lived on attention. Without it, he'd starve. So I unplugged the oxygen supply. I created fake profiles, dozens, all locals, all following him, liking his gym posts, commenting on his stories. I let him feel admired. Then one by one, I turned them. Comment chains about his hygiene, about how he treated animals. Questions like, "Isn't this the guy who tied up that dog in the sun?" Always vague, always just enough to plant doubt. His followers dipped. Brands ghosted him. His cousin, my actual roommate, started pulling away too, saying, "Man, I didn't know he was like that." Step 2, unease. Every night I played a sound on loop through a Bluetooth speaker hidden in the vents. A low growl, not loud, barely audible, just enough to make you question if you heard something. Every hour, it played for 30 seconds. He started leaving the lights on. After a week, he asked me if I heard anything weird at night. I said no, maybe he was stressed, or maybe it was guilt. Step 3, triggers. I replaced all his protein powder with a nearly identical looking blend that caused bloating and nausea in high doses. He thought he had food poisoning, then IBS, then maybe bad genetics. He started skipping gym days. Good. Then came the dreams. I knew his ex, Hannah. She hated him. I paid her to send him a voice memo every few days from a burner number. Whispered things. "You're not safe. I hear barking. Is that scratching under your bed?" He thought he was being stalked. I watched him install a camera in his bedroom. I looped the footage. One night, I replaced it with a short video, just 3 seconds, of a shadow passing behind his closet door. He moved out the next morning, but I wasn't done. He didn't deserve peace. He deserved to carry that fear the way Max carried his leash in those last moments, tight around the throat. I followed him to the new place. I left paw prints in chalk outside his door, changed his smart speaker's wake phrase to "stay," left a bag of dog hair in his mailbox. He shaved his head, posted a video crying about harassment. Good, this was just the middle. Grief burns in stages, but rage sharpens. This was just the middle. You know what people never expect? Revenge with patience. Everyone expects rage to be hot, loud, explosive, but the best kind? It simmers. It marinates in silence. And when it finally surfaces, it doesn't scream. It whispers. By now, Chase was unraveling. His new apartment? I'd already bribed the building manager to accidentally give me access for pest control. I didn't hurt him. I didn't even enter his place. I just moved things, slightly. His shampoo swapped with conditioner. A single screw loosened from his chair. The microwave clock set back by 3 minutes. He started second-guessing reality. At this point, I introduced a new element, community shame. I found his local dog park's Facebook group and sent them the video he posted, the one where Max was tied up. I blurred my name, cropped out any indicators of who recorded it, and posted it under the caption, "Do you recognize this man? This was in our area." Comments blew up. One woman recognized his voice. Another remembered him bringing his cousin's husky once and yanking its collar too tight. Within 24 hours, Chase was banned from every park within driving distance, so he tried to start over. Again, this time, he moved cities, deleted social media, new gym, new people, fresh start. But I already had someone there too, a girl named Riley. She owed me a favor. I asked her for one thing, become friends with Chase. Get close, not romantically, just enough that he'd feel safe again. 2 weeks in, I mailed him a package. Inside, Max's old tag, just the tag, nothing else. He broke down crying in front of Riley, told her someone was messing with his head, that he didn't mean for it to happen. She asked what it was. He told her, word for word, and she recorded everything. We released the clip anonymously in every local dog lovers forum, tagging it, "Confession of Cruelty. Beware." That was the last time Chase used his real name, but still, I wasn't done. He had one last thread of peace left, his mother, the only person he ever called when things got dark. He once bragged about how she always believed in him, how she knew he had a good heart. So I mailed her the same video, no explanation, just a flash drive labeled, "The son you think you raised." She blocked him within a day. And me? I went back to Max Max's grave, sat beside it with a candle and a single mint green leash. I told you, I whispered, he'd pay. Then I walked home in the dark and smiled when I heard a dog bark somewhere far away, because Chase would never hear one again without looking over his shoulder. And next time he does, he should run, but not from a dog, from me. I didn't expect to become addicted to revenge, but there's something about it, something cleansing, something that lets you pick up the shattered pieces of someone you loved and weld them into a weapon. And Chase, he gave me enough pieces to build an arsenal. After his mother cut him off, he went full recluse. He lived in a tiny apartment above a pawn shop in a city no one cared about. No gym, no social life, just protein bars, paranoia, and the flickering glow of regret. But still, not enough, so I dug deeper. Found out he was working part-time at a pet supply warehouse. Oh, the irony. I waited a month, let him settle, let him believe the world had moved on. Then I left him a gift in the break room, a chew toy, Max's favorite brand, custom printed with one word. Remember? He didn't show up to work the next day. Now here's the thing, when people break, they do it in layers. And Chase, he had layers of arrogance, cruelty, and cowardice that needed peeling. So I started peeling. I rented the empty unit across from his and started making small, deliberate sounds at 3:14 a.m. every night. Not barking, not growling, just scratching. Software repetitive, like claws on drywall. He posted on Reddit asking if anyone had experienced phantom sounds in their apartment complex. The responses were wild, but one reply, one I made under a burner account, it read, "Sometimes it's not the sound you should be afraid of, it's what remembers making it." He deleted the post. The next week, I got him fired. How? I recorded a fake customer service call pretending to be Chase. I used audio software, mashed his old vlogs into a patchwork sentence about how dogs are useless and how hurting them is funny. I sent it to his manager anonymously. They never even confronted him, just handed him a final check and told him to go. He was unemployed, alone, afraid, and now it was time for the final act. I hired an actor, not to hurt him, just to stand outside his building at night wearing a hoodie and holding a leash, with no dog attached. Every night, same spot, just standing, staring up at Chase's window. On the 5th night, Chase snapped. He ran outside screaming, "Who are you? What do you want?" The actor dropped a leash and walked away in silence. The next day, Chase left town again. This time he didn't tell anyone, but I still found him. He was living in a tent behind a gas station 2 cities over. No phone, no job, no gym, just a shadow of himself, twitching every time a dog barked in the distance. And that's when I decided it was done. I walked up to his tent, set something down at the entrance, a mint green chew toy, burned around the edges, like Max, and underneath it, a note. "You're not being haunted, Chase. You're being remembered." He didn't look out. He didn't scream. He just sobbed. And that sound, that was the apology Max never got. The last leash had finally snapped, and I never smiled wider. I didn't see Chase again after that night, but that was the point. Revenge isn't always about confrontation. Sometimes it's about absence, about leaving a silence so heavy it echoes louder than any scream. I moved on, got a new apartment, started volunteering at a rescue center, met a dog there with the same eyes as Max, kind, trusting, a little broken. I didn't take him home, not yet, but I visit him every day. We sit together in the yard, no leash, no pressure, just quiet. He trusts me, and that's enough for now. But as for Chase, I still check in. I don't contact him. I don't even leave signs anymore. I just watch. He's a ghost now, wandering jobs, sleeping on couches, flinching every time a leash snaps or a dog growls. I made sure of that, because you don't just get to laugh while something you love dies and walk away untouched. You carry it, you breathe it, you become what you mocked. And Chase, he used to be the kind of guy who posted selfies with inspirational captions like, "Conquer fear." Now, he lives in it, and he should, because the world forgets. But I don't. I remember Max. I remember every second of that video. I remember Chase's smirk. And every time I hear someone say, "Dogs are just animals," I think about the way Max wagged his tail even while tied up, the way he looked at me like I was his whole world. And I make a promise to myself, if I ever see someone like Chase again, if I ever hear laughter while something pure suffers, I'll return. No leash, no mercy, just silence, and the sound of one more leash snapping. Because monsters don't deserve closure. They deserve to flinch every time they hear a bark, forever.